Chapter 1: The Hidden Frequency. You rest with your eyes closed, noticing a quiet pulse in the background of your thoughts. Like a distant tide, your brain hums with electrical patterns called neural oscillations. These patterns, often known as alpha waves, flicker between 8 and 12 cycles per second. You sense this hidden frequency as a soft vibration, a subtle bedrock beneath your waking mind. In scientific practice, researchers gently place electrodes on the scalp to capture these waves through an electroencephalogram, or EEG. Each tiny sensor measures voltage changes caused by millions of neurons firing in synchrony. This measurement is a window into coordinated brain rhythms that govern attention, relaxation, and memory consolidation. As you imagine the sensors detecting your waves, you appreciate how technology transforms invisible signals into patterns we can study and even influence. Within this meditative field, scientists have discovered the power of synaptic plasticity, the brain's ability to rewire connections based on experience. Long-term potentiation and depression, LTP and LTD, adjust the strength of synapses, strengthening some pathways while weakening others. You envision your neurons as branches in a living forest, where each electrical impulse deepens a trail or allows it to fade. This delicate balance holds the promise of gentle transformation, where unwanted memories can slowly recede. In experiments on memory erasure, researchers explore how precise rhythms can gently weaken traumatic connections. As you settle into this rhythm, you notice the pull of a hidden channel, a subtle frequency that hums below conscious thought. It drapes around your awareness like a lullaby, softening sharp edges of past moments. You feel how even slight shifts in wave amplitude can resynchronize the mind's landscapes. Each breath you take synchronizes with these pulses, guiding you toward quiet clarity. The boundary between observer and observed gently blends. In this quiet resonance, you sense an invitation lingering at the edge of perception, calling you to listen for the next subtle hum that will reshape the story you tell yourself, softly guiding you toward tomorrow's unfolding insight. Chapter 2: Echoes in the Synapse. You settle into a comfortable silence, breathing softly. In the dim glow of your inner vision, you notice molecules drifting across a tiny gap. This synaptic cleft, barely 20 nanometers wide, carries neurotransmitters like serotonin and glutamate. Each molecule rides a gentle breeze, binding receptors on the receiving neuron. In this moment of observation, you sense the hum of chemical communication, a delicate choreography that underlies every thought you have. You recognize synaptic plasticity unfolding like a soft tide. In the hippocampus, electrical signals trigger calcium ions to flow through NMDA receptors. This influx sparks cascade signals that strengthen synaptic connections. With each pulse, long-term potentiation weaves stronger pathways, engraving experience into neural circuits. Yet enzymes called monoamine oxidases silently clear certain transmitters, dialing back the signal. You feel how chemistry governs the rise and fall of memory's tides. As you observe, tiny dendritic spines change shape, sprouting new branches like budding blossoms. Protein synthesis kicks in, guided by genes that remember past events. These molecular artisans build scaffolds of actin and signaling proteins, embedding traces of sensation within the brain's architecture. Each alteration is subtle but profound, you become aware of the balance between growth and pruning, how memories form, then fade when structural support dissolves. In laboratories, researchers once tested this suppressed alchemy with gentle currents and chemicals. Eric Kandel's work on aplasia illuminated how nerve cells store memory through localized changes. By applying small shocks, scientists could both block and evoke learned responses, revealing how fragile recollection can be. You sense that your own mind holds similar vulnerabilities and strengths, shifting with each molecular whisper and every fleeting spark of neural light. Now you feel the weight of forgotten moments slipping free, like grains of sand released from time's hourglass. These winds of molecules that blur your past may also guide you toward uncharted remembrance. As receptors open and close, you ride currents of possibility within your own neural sea. Soon, another quiet mystery awaits, whispering its invitation as you drift forward. Chapter 3: Light and Shadows of Optogenetics. You sit quietly, watching a flicker of blue light dancing across a silent memory canvas. Each pulse feels like a gentle breath, carrying photons that drift through tissue. In optogenetics, scientists insert light-sensitive proteins, called channel rhodopsins, into neurons. When blue light shines, these proteins open like tiny gates, inviting ions to rush in. You witness how light can awaken hidden electrical whispers inside your mind, softly stirring thoughts. You imagine genes carrying instructions as gentle gardeners, delivered by harmless viruses into cells. These genetic travelers encode the blueprint for channel rhodopsin proteins, turning ordinary neurons into living beacons. Viral vectors sneak down microscopic pathways, inserting DNA like seeds into the nucleus. Over days, cells begin to express light-sensitive channels. When you shine a measured beam, you guide electrical currents with poetic precision, sculpting patterns of memory and unlocking hidden corridors quietly. Deep within the hippocampus, the brain's memory orchard, light finds its way into intertwined branches of synaptic connections. In regions like CA1 and CA3, neurons form circuits that record where you stand in space and time. Gentle pulses can strengthen synapses in a process called long-term potentiation, a key to forming recollections. You feel each flash as an invitation, coaxing neurons to whisper their stories into waking thought. Yet light also casts shadows. By using inhibitory proteins like halorhodopsin, researchers shine yellow light to flood neurons with chloride, quieting their chatter. This approach, called optogenetic silencing, can erase specific signals, pausing memories in midair. You sense the weight of choice, as optical tools can both reveal and conceal. In quiet experiments, entire corridors of thought can fade like footprints in sand, reminding you of power in gentle, soft, calm precision. In the hush after each pulse, you reflect on the interplay of light and genes in shaping memory. Each beam is a question, silenced neuron a secret kept. The orchard of recall balances growth, restraint, guided by rhythms you can observe and influence. You linger in this silent space, wondering what stories the next beam will uncover in the dark. Chapter 4: Electric Whispers. You rest in a soft cradle of sound, feeling a gentle hum at the edges of your awareness. A device rests lightly against your temple, sending quiet currents through layers of bone and tissue. These pulses echo the principle of transcranial electrical stimulation, where low-intensity currents guide neurons toward calm or clarity. You notice how each microscopic wave feels like a tiny tide, washing over dunes of thought. In the space between breath and consciousness, you sense the hum traveling along neural highways. Electrical potentials shift as ions cross cell membranes, nudging synapses toward new patterns. You become aware that every thought arises from these tiny electrical whispers, sculpting emotion and memory through precise spikes and pauses. This interplay of charge and silence underlies the rhythm of your mind. A single pulse may excite a cluster of neurons, inviting them to fire in synchrony. A slightly longer wave can inhibit their chatter, quieting busy circuits with gentle persuasion. You feel these adjustments as ripples through your inner landscape, smoothing rough edges in the fabric of your memory. This process, known as neuromodulation, reveals that your mind is not fixed, but pliant, malleable by the soft touch of electricity. Inside, synaptic plasticity awakens. Connections that once sparked with anxious thought relax under the steady cadence of calibrated pulses. New pathways appear like dew-washed trails through a forest at dawn. You observe how each adjustment holds the promise of release, easing burdens you may have carried for years. Every shift whispers of transformation. You notice that these pulses often pulse at frequencies around 10 Hz, aligning with your brain's natural alpha rhythms. This resonance deepens your relaxation and nurtures receptive, serene, restful awareness. Drifting deeper, you float in a sea of gentle electricity that tames memory storms with quiet precision. Each wave carries the potential to erase a fragment or rekindle a long-forgotten hue. You wonder which shimmering current might wash away a fragment of your history next. The answer drifts just beyond the horizon of your imagination, waiting to greet you in the chapters to come. Chapter 5: The AI Dreamsmith. You stand, eyes closed, in the hush of algorithms humming beyond human hearing. You feel the rhythm of ones and zeros sorted with careful precision. An algorithm is a step-by-step instruction set, guiding each digital heartbeat. In this quiet realm, logic drifts like starlight through chambers of code. You sense a gentle current of pattern and rule. Each line shapes purpose. Memory and calculation merge in silent collaboration gently now. You sense a gentle probing as the machine passes the shape of every recollection you hold. In digital memory, bits rest in transistors that flip between on and off states to record presence and absence, much like neurons toggling in your hippocampus. This recording creates a map of associations. Data points link like stars in a constellation. Each fragment of your story sits encoded in layered circuits, ready to reawaken. You feel its invisible logic weaving predictions of what to forget or preserve. The system uses predictive models built on probability distributions, estimating how likely each memory will surface again. In a neural network, layers of artificial neurons calculate weighted sums and pass them through activation functions, shaping outcomes. Each prediction refines itself by comparing errors, much like your brain learns through feedback in synaptic adjustments during sleep. Endlessly so. In this forbidden art, data and desire entwine. An AI dreamsmith tweaks millions of parameters, guiding gradient descent in hidden layers. Each weight adjusts by backpropagation, nudging the network toward imagined outcomes. These subtle shifts open new pathways through neural depths. analogous to synaptic remodeling in a dreaming mind. The machine sculpts a landscape of possibility, each adjustment echoing the way your brain reshapes circuits when you learn and dream. You wonder if an AI's hand could rewrite your story without waking awareness. In unsupervised layers, the system uncovers hidden patterns and composes narratives from fragments of your past. It scripts potential memories in streams of activation, nudging future thoughts before they arise. Boundaries between self and algorithm soften here, in that delicate space. You drift at the edge of recognition, feeling possibilities stir like early dawn, inviting new dream. Chapter 6. Sonic Keys. You rest quietly, noticing a faint vibration tracing gentle arcs through your skull, like water rippling under moonlight. Those subtle pulses are ultrasound, sound waves above 20 kilohertz, traveling beyond your ear's hearing range. In medical labs, those waves become sonic keys, precise and silent, weaving through tissues without pain. You feel a hush as mechanical energy shifts microscopic structures, nudging membranes and unlocking small doors in grey matter. This first pulse feels like a question whispered softly, inviting you to listen for what's hidden beneath silence. You imagine those waves focusing their energy, guided by curved transducers that shape sound like sculptors shape clay. In research on low-intensity focused ultrasound, LIFU, scientists map precise regions of the brain, altering neural firing with millimeter accuracy. Each pulse flexes cell membranes, opening ion channels that shift electrical currents and modulate mood or memory. This gentle modulation happens without incisions or radiation. You feel each whisper of sound like a butterfly's wing, hovering, altering your inner landscape through vibrations you cannot hear but can sense. In some experiments, ultrasound even opens the blood-brain barrier, a protective shield of tightly packed cells that normally keeps molecules at bay. Brief pulses create tiny gaps where helpful compounds or antibodies can slip through, offering new paths for healing. You sense a promise in that careful breaching, a way to bring nourishment or repair to hidden corners of your mind. As memories emerge, you feel them shimmer like droplets of ink spreading on paper. Each recalled moment carries warmth and insight, long held in hushed chambers beyond reach. Listening inward, you realize these sonic keys hold both power and gentleness. They can quiet overactive thoughts or kindle new patterns of focus, all by shifting pressure waves at the cellular level. Scientists study how varying frequency, intensity, and pulse duration create different effects, dialing in exactly the right note to coax your neurons into harmony. You sit at the threshold of discovery, aware that each gentle thrum is both question and answer. Tomorrow, you will step deeper into vibrational realms, following threads of resonance through the boundless corridors of consciousness and bright wonder. Chapter 7. Quantum Threads of Thought. You lie quietly in the glow of your inner awareness, sensing the faint hum of thought in each breath. At scales far below ordinary sight, quantum particles flicker in superposition, existing in multiple states until observed, patiently awaiting collapse into a single reality. This duality mirrors the tension of your mind, both calm and alert, waiting for the next moment. You imagine packets of energy weaving between neurons, like threads of light connecting skylines. quantum entanglement suggests that particles can share a link, regardless of the space between them. In your brain, this might whisper through synapses, coupling memories across time. Each thought could be a chorus of entwined quanta, harmonizing what you remember and deepening the mystery of consciousness. You drift on waves of uncertainty, where each quantum state might fold into your awareness or slip away like dew at dawn. Superposition allows a particle to exist in many possibilities until you observe it. Similarly, a fleeting impression in your mind may bloom into lasting memory or vanish into whisper of forgetting, shaped by the act of quiet attention. As particles entwine across distances, your neurons form networks through synaptic plasticity, strengthening connections when you remember. In this dance, the Hebbian principle teaches that neurons that fire together wire together, creating a tapestry of thought. Each recalled moment reinforces its thread, making patterns more vivid. You sense a geometry in your mind, where each memory is a glowing filament. When you turn inward, your attention acts like a measurement, causing quantum decoherence and collapsing possibilities into a single outcome. Just as observing a photon fixes its path, introspection crystallizes one narrative from the many potentials of thought. This act of focus blends with breathing. You experience how each gaze inward shapes contours of what you hold to be true. In this tapestry of thought, quantum threads weave moments of memory into a delicate web. Entangled particles react instantly to change, as if each recollection is stitched by unseen forces. You sense the mesh of possibilities humming between remembering and forgetting. Now you hold a question in your mind. Could unraveling one strand dissolve tapestry of memories, guiding you forward? Chapter 8. The Brain's Silent Network. You settle into silence, feeling the gentle pulse of your heartbeat as it mirrors a distant drum. Inside your skull, billions of neurons hum in sync, sending tiny electrical signals through a vast web of grey matter. Each spark is a note in a silent symphony, reminding you that thought is alive. As you breathe slowly, you imagine synapses, tiny spaces where chemicals leap like fireflies. Neurotransmitters drift across these gaps, carrying messages that shape memory and emotion. This dance of dopamine and glutamate underlies decision. By learning this exchange, you sense how each gentle breath might ripple through your neural conversation, weaving calm awareness. You drift through corridors of thought, tracing pathways in a city of connections. Modern neuroscience calls this the connectome, a map of neurons and synapses linking your feelings, memories, and instincts. Researchers use scanners to glimpse this atlas. As you rest, you become explorer and landscape, merging with silent blueprint of your mind. In quiet labs, some pioneers experimented on neural plasticity, the brain's power to rewire itself. By stimulating neurons, they discovered how pathways shift when you learn a new skill or forget a pain. Although many studies remain classified, data whisper of rerouted memories, hinting that every thought might travel a novel route. You navigate a grid where not only neurons take root, glial cells, overlooked, cradle every synapse, offering nourishment and support. They clear debris, balance chemicals, and guide growth. In this tapestry, each cell helps maintain harmony, reminding you that unseen caretakers work behind the scenes to uphold the balance of your mind. As your breathing slows further, you sense the default mode network awakening, regions that hum when you are at rest and let mind wander. It links the frontal cortex to the posterior cingulate, weaving self-reflective thoughts during gentle pause. This quiet hum gently softens day-to-day chatter and opens a gateway to introspective calm. You drift toward a dimly lit intersection within your neural city, where the radiant glow of past thoughts meets the shadow of hidden potentials. Each impulse stirs a question. What new unseen junction lies ahead, ready to redirect the path of your memories and slowly guide your journey into the chapter that follows. Chapter 9. Blueprint of Forgetting. You rest quietly, feeling a soft hum beneath your skin, like a faint melody. You imagine your DNA as a bound scroll, each twist a line of text. Along its spine, tiny stamps settle. Methyl groups nestle against letters, like gentle bookmarks placed by unseen hands. This is epigenetic marking, a real process where molecules attach to DNA and influence which genes speak and which remain silent. In this moment, you sense the invisible dance between memory and molecular seal. You feel curiosity stirring softly. In your mind's eye, you watch enzymes called DNA methyltransferases glide along the strands. They deposit methyl groups, simple carbon and hydrogen clusters, at specific spots. Each methyl mark can block a gene's instruction, quieting its voice like a muted song. Nearby, histone proteins, around which DNA coils gain or lose tiny chemical tags that loosen or tighten this coil, affecting accessibility. These histone modifications are genuine molecular events that help regulate memory formation and erasure, guiding which experiences your cells choose to encode. This tagging is reversible and shaped by environment. Within each cell, these tiny stamps and tags form a hidden ledger, an epigenetic script that records your life's dialogue with the world. Enzymes like histone acetyltransferases add acetyl groups, easing DNA's grip for active genes, while deacetylases remove them, silencing others. Likewise, demethylases can erase methyl clusters, unlocking regions once closed. This molecular choreography underlies learning and forgetting. When you relinquish a thought or feeling, you participate in a profound biochemical ritual. As the balance of chemical attachments shifts in response to each breath and heartbeat, light, diet, and stress also influence this dance. Now, you sit in hushed wonder, aware that each memory is both engraved and erasable. You feel the echo of past joys and losses held in molecular ink, then smudged away. The idea that you could rewrite what endures or dissolves can inspire a quiet hope that healing may arise through the same pathways that once carved pain into your cells. Epigenetic change is not destiny but potential, a script that you can influence through thought, rest, or simple kindness to yourself. As you rest with this evolving blueprint, you wonder what the next chapter in this code might reveal. Chapter 10. Gateways Unseen. You stand before a gentle light that pulses like a distant star, a soft glow where neurons and intentions converge. In this place, the subtle techniques you have practiced, mindful attention, breath awareness, guided imagery, align with discoveries in neuroscience. You imagine how functional magnetic resonance imaging maps blood flow, shifts, as you focus inward. Each modulation of thought stirs chemical messengers, serotonin, dopamine, whispering through synaptic pathways. This gathering of science and awareness opens a portal, revealing a threshold that feels both fragile and profound. As you approach the brink of erasure, you sense the delicate art of forgetting. The brain's natural process of synaptic pruning lets old patterns dissolve, making space for new connections. You notice how your mind gently releases outdated beliefs and memories, like autumn leaves drifting away on a quiet stream. In real laboratory studies, researchers see similar clearing. Neurons that no longer fire together lose their bonds, leaving a cleaner, more efficient landscape. Here, the unknown edges of your psyche invite a radical renewal. This final gateway holds deeper questions, shifting the breeze of thought toward ethics and identity. If you could erase any memory, how would that reshape your sense of self? Neuroscientists debate how memory editing might heal trauma or risk altering the essence of who we are. You reflect on emerging brain-computer interfaces that allow scientists to read patterns of intent or to write information directly to neural circuits. Each innovation promises insight, yet carries a silent warning about consent and the unknowable costs. You breathe slowly, contemplating how the brain's gates operate at the microscopic scale. Ion channels open and close like doorways, regulating the flow of electrical signals. Glial cells act as silent custodians, clearing away metabolic waste so neurons can shine. This orchestration feels sacred, a choreography of biology and consciousness. You sense that every opening invites a perspective, as if each synaptic spark births new horizons. You pause, feeling the threshold's soft vibration under your fingertips, attuned to possibilities both dangerous and liberating. A hush settles as you consider stepping across into the realm where memory and meaning blur together. In that space lies a question so vast that words cannot contain it. What lies just beyond, in the silent space where forgotten truths await?